In this lesson, we're going to learn how to create a personal logo that can be used in a portfolio book or on a business card or in any situation where you need to put a personal logo. I'm in Adobe Spark. You're going to go to spark.adobe.com, and if you already don't have an Adobe account, you can create a free one here. You're going to get started now, and you're going to see a bunch of different layouts here. You don't want to use any of these. We're going to make this from scratch, and we're going to go to Get Started Now. We're going to use Spark as a design tool to create this on our own. So we're going to go to Custom Size, and we want to make a graphic. And you'll see a bunch of different sizes here. We want to go with custom because we're going to be making a standalone graphic. We have height and width here. We want to work in pixels. The maximum that we can put in here, I mean, we can put larger numbers, but 3000 by 3000 would be good for print. And if we hit next, we're going to go in and, we need something that has enough pixels to be able to be large on the page and then scale down to be smaller in a different situation. So once we get in here, you'll see the this kind of canvas here, and initially you'll see templates. We don't want to use any of these templates because we're not laying out a piece. We're only making a graphic. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to hit Add. Once we hit Add, we're going to get this little dropout here, text, photo, icon, logo. We're going to be using the text button. We're going to click on text, and now we have a bunch of templates here that we can use, but we're just going to use start from scratch. You can explore the templates on your own. We're going to just do this from scratch. So we can do add your text. And when we click that, we're going to type in our name. Now we can do this separately or on one line. So we could do our first name and then our last name and kind of move them around. For this demonstration, I'm just going to put it all together. Okay. Now we see this come in. It's got a couple of parts to it. The first thing is it's got a background, and then it's got text in here. So if we try to move this, we can move it around. And if we look over here to the right, we have all of the attributes and then the other manipulations that we can do to the text. So for example, you've got a primary text style here. What it does is it gives you like a little two-button action to kind of go back and forth to see a second style, to see what it looks like. So right now, if I didn't want this Laura, say I wanted something a little bit more, I don't know, a little stronger font. So I go to this Nexa Rust Slab Black. So this is kind of cool. I like it. I'm going to go over. And again, as I go in, if I lose that, I got to click back on the text, because once I click off, it goes back to kind of this stuff again. So click back on the text. And now I can make other manipulations. If I wanted this left justified, I could do that. I could leave it centered. We could do right alignment. We could do a capitalization and fit, where it just kind of scrunches it down, which gives it a little effect. So that looks kind of cool. So I'll keep that. I can manipulate the size and make it larger. I want to basically make it as large as I can on this page, because then we're going to scale it down. So imagine this was going to be on a cover. We want it to be big enough, and then when we scale it down, it'll kind of fit into into a page. Now, a couple things about this that maybe I could change. Number one, this is white text on a colorized background. If I want to change the color, I can go to color, and I can go in and pick different schemes that I'm interested in. So, for example, if I pick this, now I get this purple scheme, and I can shuffle it to see what it would look like and try these different color schemes to see what I like. And try this out. So maybe I decide that I like this color, but I don't want the box. I don't want the shape. I just want the text. I'm going to go to shape. And when I click shape, I have the backing shape. I have this is the padding, which kind of makes the shape bigger and smaller around your text. And it leaves a little bit of padding. And then you can pick some of these other ones if you wanted to attempt to use them in some way. Obviously, circles won't work because the text is too large. And if you don't want a shape, if you want to get rid of the shape, so for example, if you wanted to use, say, a bracket like that, but I pretty much don't want a shape. So I'm going to hit the no, and now I have no shape. And this is what I want. So I have the text. I can scale it freely by grabbing the corners here. And I can also manipulate opacity, so you can kind of lighten it up if you wanted to kind of like overlay it on something or make it look, opaque. Transparent. And then we can also manipulate the effects. So if I click on effects, now I've got these different effects that I can apply. So a shadow, for example, and then it allows you to manipulate the direction and the distance of the shadow. Notice how I can kind of move this if I wanted the direction to be up. And then you can kind of play with the distance if you wanted it to be more off or on. See how kind of the shadow's moving there. I wouldn't go too crazy. I'd leave it at the default for that. And now we've got the logo ready to go. And again, once I click on the text, it goes back in here. The only other manipulation besides effects are different styles. And this allows you to kind of pull through and change the font styles to different typefaces to get suggestions and different. I give you kind of some random suggestions. I'm going to go back to what I had. I'm going to leave it where it is. And now I need to output this. So because we're going to use this, and because this is online, it's automatically saved in your Adobe account. It's automatically saved in your Spark account, which is pretty cool. Don't have to worry about backing this up. So you could share this out through social. Or what we're going to do is we're going to download it because we're going to place it into a portfolio book, which is going to be a physical print book. We're going to put it on the cover, and then we're going to put it in the interior. So once we hit download, we have a bunch of options here. We can do PNG, JPEG, PDF, right? So the PDF is going to give you a high quality graphic for printing. And because we're just printing this locally on local printers, we're going to go with PNG here to get our transparency. PDF will also come in with that, but we're going to go with PNG first to just show you how this works. So if we hit start download, it's going to ask us to pick a background type. Now, we don't want a solid color. We don't want the white. We want a transparent PNG. So that'll give us transparency. And now, once we do that, we'll see the download in the bottom here. And we're going to take that. We have to show that in the folder. This is going to be in our downloads folder. So we're just going to take that and we're just going to drag it right over to our desktop. So we've opened up a portfolio book in Word, and this is just a template with all the pieces, but we're going to start to replace this and put our logo in. So first thing we want to do is we want to click on here, and we notice that there is a text box with these two pieces in it. I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to delete that out. Now I'm going to go to Insert, Pictures, and I'm going to go out to the desktop, and that logo saved out as my post. We're going to insert that in. Here it comes. And now you'll notice it comes onto the page. When I try to move it, I can't. And that's because we have to set the text wrap for this. And the way that we do that is we can go to Format, Text Wrap, and if we go down to More Layout Options, we're going to get this window. And what this window allows us to do is set the text wrap to in front of text. And this will allow us to move this around. And then with positioning, we want to set positioning to page and page. And we just want to uncheck layout and table cell. We want allow overlap to be on there. And now we have absolute positions that we can write down to position this anywhere we want on every page using Word as a layout program. So again, in front of text, absolute position, page, and page. Your settings might be different, but you want to set them to this and then uncheck layout and table cell. We click OK, and now we can move this around. So I can grab this. I want to always grab the corner if I scale, and I can scale this up a little bit larger. I don't need to have the word portfolio on the cover of the book. We can put this text here. We can put another little piece of text that says work or portfolio underneath. If we wanted to, we could make that in Spark and bring it in. For now, we're just going to put this one here. So now we're going to bring in another image. And we're going to go down to this page. And what we want to do is we want to replace this personal logo with an image. So what we're going to do is, rather than inserting the image, we can just take this image and we can copy and paste it. So if we right click, we can copy, and then we can keep source formatting and just paste. And now we have this. So as we grab this, we're going to make this a little bit smaller by grabbing the corner, and I'm going to pull it down here so we can see it. And again, we want to place this in the corner of our portfolio as a little branding element. So we're not going to have it too big. We're not going to have it too small. That looks good. And now as I move this down, as I move it, you'll notice that other stuff is going to move with it. That's not the fault of this graphic. That's the fault of this graphic. So if I right click on this, or actually just click it, and then again we want to go to layout, and layout with the format tab will give us text wrap. And when we go in here, we see it's in front of text, but let's go to more layout options just to see what's happening with this. In front of text is good. And then you notice that what's not checked off here? Allow overlap. So once that's checked off, now we can overlap this and it's not going to move stuff around. So if stuff moves around, make sure the allow overlap is checked off. And again, that's in your wrap text. And you're just going to go to your more layout options here. Okay. So as I move this down, I'm going to click this logo. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to take my graphic, and you'll notice that it's moving my caption around because my caption probably is set for that as well. So if we click on the caption and we go to wrap text, we've got in front of text, we go to more layout options, position, and now we're going to allow overlap and click OK. And once we do that, now this stuff is going to play nice and not move around. Okay, so we position this here, and we have our cover page, and we have our interior page with a personal logo.